Met a guy on Marketplace because that's what we do. I think I covered before, but my brother's more into the lowrider style. He had gotten some super low profile tires. So 17 by 7, 17 by 8, 205, 40, 17, 215, 40, 17 is what he initially purchased for the truck. He was thinking like bagging it and making it super slammed. I'm more like sport truck, more like handling hot rod. So he realized his mistake and he bought some 245 40 17s. He was going to try and put on the back. However, I still don't think that's enough. So I'm going to take those 245 40 17s and put on these 8-inch wide rims, 17 by 8s, and move them up there. We're going to bring that front end down about 5 inches. He's got a 4-inch block in the back. I'm going to pull a leaf spring. That should drop it another 1.5-inch, I'm guessing. And then we're going to put these on the back, which are 18 by 9 with a 275 35 18 that I picked up on the Marketplace on the way back. The guy had just a pair he had bought. They weren't going to work for his project. I think that's going to give this a super tough kind of muscle car stance. The 17-18 combo, nice wide tire in the back, even though it's a 2.5 4-cylinder 5-speed. I think that's going to be really cool looking. I also hope to make it handle well. I'm probably going to upgrade, put like a big front sway bar on it. Kind of like I had done with a black GMC truck that I had back in the day. I think before I was doing any YouTube, I had a 97 GMC Sierra step side that I'd swapped in a LT1 V8 in it out of like an old Fleetwood cop car or Fleetwood Caprice style engine. Put a cam in it and stuff. I want to kind of replicate that, but with an S10. S10's back to my like high school. I had one of these when I graduated high school. I'll toss a picture up here. It was kind of the same truck. It was a base model, 4-cylinder, 5-speed, manual, everything, no AC. It was virtually the same truck, just a couple of years older than this one. So excited to be starting with a rust-free base. We're not going to do any paint work to this thing per se. It's kind of beat up, and that's cool to me. I think we're going to do like shop truck. My idea is to maybe kind of scuff it up a little bit here and there, maybe add the Turbo's Toy Box logos to the doors. Maybe we'll do a little faux patina work, but nothing crazy. I don't want to spend an absorbent amount of time on the body because I literally want something I can jump in and run and chase parts and not really care about. I want it to run and drive good and just be a good all-around spare vehicle for the house. So I think this is going to fit the bill well. Anyway, right now we're going to start out by jacking the back end of the truck up. We're going to fit the 18-inch wheels under the back here, and that gives me the opportunity to take these wheels with the other tires to a tire shop and get the tires swapped and remounted and balanced with the 245, and then we can move those to the front. And then those front two we'll find a home for. Maybe somebody on Marketplace needs them. Maybe they come cool wall art. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But right now we're going to jack it up and swap some tires. Now it's got almost a gasser vibe since the front isn't lowered yet. I took all the weight out of the back. It was like 6 of the stock 14-inch wheels with tires. If anybody who needs those, hit me up. I've got 3 center caps. I do have the fourth. The fourth center cap is broken. But I got 4 rims with the trim rings and 3 good center caps and then 2 extra rims. If somebody wants those, I don't know, make me an offer. Bring me a couple cases of Mountain Dew or something. I don't know. I'm Andy, I'm out of here. But that looks way better. 18 by 9 comes out just inside the fender lip. So once we get this back down, we may have to trim in there a little bit. Right now with no weight in the back, I'm a little over 3 inches here. So dropping that leaf out should get rid of half of that gap. That doesn't leave me a ton of travel room. So we may have to do a little trimming, but it's gonna be worth it. I think that's gonna look great. Way better than this. This, no. That, no good. This, yes, much gooder. All right, I'm gonna swap that other rear one, and we gotta get these other ones to the tire shop so we can get some bigger meats on that front end. First full day of being home, and drop off the two 17 by 8 inch wheels with the 245 tires, see if they can swap those around for me. So with those 18 by 9s and the 275 35 18s on the back's looking good. The front, however, looks goofy. Well, and the height looks goofy. So the 2-inch drop spindles are on their way. There's some 3-inch springs in the bed. So we're gonna get that front drop down 5 inches total, and then we'll adjust the rear accordingly. But right now, we're gonna bolt on the other wheels. So we're gonna ditch these 17 by 7s with a 205 40 17, and we're gonna bolt on the 17 by 8s with the 245 40 17, which is a lot closer to that rear tire height. So that, let's see, there at 0 magnification, that is the height difference that I'll have front to rear now, which is negligible. That's like a 1/2 inch. So let's get these bolted on the front, see what it looks like. Yeah, look at the difference in height. This is probably over 3/4 of an inch taller than what was on there. And it's significantly wider as well. Should be a much more balanced look. Yeah. So I don't know if it makes a difference to anybody but me, but that looks so much better. So much better. So the front tires are still tucked inside the fender well a little bit, which is fine. So we're gonna drop it 5 inches. You know what? Let me grab a tape. So 5 inches of lowering. Right now we're probably 5 3/4, maybe 6, depending on where you measure. So that's gonna get that fender set right down on that tire, nice and tight. And then the rear, again, we're gonna bring down to match, to bring it down accordingly to match. And then once we figure that out, we're gonna get hopefully a different grill. I really wanna put the original 1989 style grill on it, along with a straight bumper. Obviously this is like the 91 to 93 style grill, and that is not correct, which is why the headlights sit way high in the opening. So we're gonna try and source those parts, and then we'll get an air dam for the front. Depending on how low it is, I'd really like the Blazer style air dam with the fog light openings. Even if I don't put lights in there, I just think it looks better. If we're too low, then we'll just get a standard straight flat one. But got up this morning, mowed the yard. It's time for the next victim. The spindles are here. We got lowering springs. We got stuff to drop the front end of this thing 5 inches from where it's at. Right now there's about 5 3/4 inches between the top of that tire and the bottom of the fender lip on the front. And then we're gonna see if we can get away with pulling leaves in the back or not, or if we're gonna have to order up some drop leaves for the back to get the heights where I want it. So anyway, but we won't know where we want the back until we get the front done. So it's time to get to work. We're just tearing into this thing, and a lot of things that I'm not used to. The first and most awesome thing is that when you break loose a bolt initially, you can typically spin it off the rest of the way with your fingers, which is absolutely amazing. Definitely not anything I'm used to working on mostly Michigan vehicles. Even newer Michigan vehicles, you can never do that. So that's pretty awesome. I've also never had a shock totally blow itself apart when I tried to take it out. The top, that's the shaft there, and the body there, it literally, the gas pressure in it, when I unbolted it, it like catapulted itself apart. Was kind of glad that it was headed towards the floor. That's where the big pile of oil is. But also note, there's a ball joint laying on the floor that when I disconnected the spindle, took the nut off top and bottom, and then I tapped the spindle to break it loose from the ball joints, the lower ball joint fell out and fell on the floor. So this thing is a bit of a sketchy beast. It's a very good thing my brother didn't try and haul my little nephew in this, or even himself. I mean, he drives on the expressway at speed usually to get to work. So this could have been a very, very scary, bad situation for somebody. And, but thank God it's in my hands and we're gonna fix it right. So also found that brake hose is sketchy and broken. We're on the verge of breaking. So got some major overhauling to do here, but we wanna make sure that it's gonna be safe and fun. So let's get to it. So I guess after doing some research online, it seems this actually is a semi-common thing. And what a lot of guys do, and what I'm gonna do, is we're gonna grind a little bit of this lip right here. We're gonna grind a little bit on the side of the ball joint. When we push it up through, we're gonna put a tack weld on it. The pressure is upward on it, so theoretically it's not gonna like fall out anyway. It's just odd to me that it's that sloppy of a fit, and I don't care for that. So that's the route we're gonna take. And then my brother had bought this whole like kit of stuff for the front end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the uppers while I'm in here also, because I can move them really easy by hand. And they look to be pretty original. The boot's all dry rotted and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and do upper and lower ball joints while we're in here, and then we'll put our hands on the rest of the parts and replace at will, I guess. If it doesn't feel like it needs it right now, we'll just shelf them, and if it does, then we'll do it. So gonna grab the welder and keep charging forward. So if this is the common fix, then that's what we're gonna do. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I just want to reattach it. All right, so this is your original spindle, obviously, because it's greasy, versus your drop spindle. And you can see from like the ball joint mounting surface here to the center of the actual spindle portion, the difference. So that's where you get 2 inches of your lowering from, is from that spindle. And then there's 3 more inches available here from the coil spring. So the new coil spring is a little bit thicker diameter, so it'll be a little bit firmer ride, but it's shorter. And the combination of the two are gonna lower the front of this truck 5 inches. So, and once I get it all together, I will have to get some shocks. I haven't ordered those yet. I wanted to get it on the ground, make sure I like the height before I spend money on a bunch more stuff, just in case I want to do something different. And if it ain't one thing, it's another. So when I tighten the wheel down, it's hitting the tie rod end. Oh, so this is the 17 by 8 inch wheel that I had put the 245 7017 tire on, and it's got just a little too much offset inset. So, but it's just like, I mean, the wheel's like, I can't even get my finger, like you can't even feel the gap behind it. So I'm thinking like a real thin 1/4 inch spacer should get me where I need to be, just off of that tie rod. So I'll have to grab those after work tomorrow. In the meantime, I guess we'll get the other side to this point. And this is the old truck curse. So I got it bolted back together. There are no shocks in the front right now, but we got the new coil springs in, the spindles in, and new upper and lower ball joints. And I did end up having to pick up some like 5/16 inch thick wheel spacers from O'Reilly's to push the wheel out just a touch, because it was hitting the tie rod, the steering tie rod there on the new spindle. But I'm really happy with the front height. There's, I don't know, close to just shy of 2 or right around 2 inches from the fender to the top of the tire, which I think is about perfect. Good combination of having you know, a little bit of suspension travel there still, but a nice low stance. However, the rear still got about 4 inches of height there. So I'm thinking we're gonna pull a leaf out. From what I've read online, guys are saying that gives them about 1.5 inches of drop in the back. So I'm gonna hope for that. We're gonna pull that out, drop it, see if we can get that rear end down. A 1/2 inch of rake would be fine. That would give it a little bit of a sport truck stance and still be able to throw stuff in the bed. So, but we're gonna need a valance for the front. But the biggest problem is I shut the hood to look at it, to get a good look at it, and then I went to open the hood because the battery was dead or weak, and I knew it was. And then the hood cable broke. So now I gotta figure out how to reach up in there and release the hood from underneath. Yeah, now that it's on the ground. Joy, joy. Yep, there it is. Gotta love it. Jeez. Oh boy, always something with old stuff. Anyway, we're gonna get the battery hooked up or charged up so we can back it outside. We'll spin it around and then play with the back end. All right, so turn the truck around, got her back in. Now let's see what we can do with this rear leaf setup. See if we can get this back end down a little bit to match the front. So hold those 2 leaf springs out of it, and the height looks much better. So the rake is only like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch front to back or something like that. And I'm sure it's gonna wear in, like the springs front and rear will probably settle, so pretty happy. And now that we got it sitting right, we better start working on making it run right. So swung in after work, grabbed some parts here, new set of plugs, cap and rotor, oil filter, air filter. I got to do some digging. I need to find this little connection for the PCV valve breather to the air filter housing. That is MIA. Also need some plug wires. However, they don't have any, and they couldn't find any. It looks like they're on like some back order everywhere, like everything in the world is today. And then at some point I'm gonna have to find that hood release cable or come up with a way to make that work again. We'll figure something out. But tonight we're gonna give her a little tune up and see if we can make it run a little better. A big portion of that's gonna be getting some good gas in it. The gas smells like straight varnish, but we'll see if we can run out what we got and slowly introduce some better stuff to it. Maybe it'll just keep getting better and better with time. So I'm gonna get to work on that. I don't know if there's anything worth videoing here. It's just basic tune-up stuff. So we'll catch you guys on the flip side. So it's getting there. Came home from work, changed the plugs, cap and rotor, changed the oil, put an air filter in it, and just ran it back and forth down the driveway. I'm pretty happy with the height. I think that's gonna work. Ideally, I think I'd like the back a touch lower, but I don't know if I'm gonna mess with it to get it lower because it looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of a kind of old school hot roddy stance with the 17s in the front and the 18s in the back. We get the right grill and stuff on it, put an air dam on the front. I think this is gonna be pretty good. Then it'll be onto the patina paint job with the shop truck logo. I think it'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.